your menstrual cycle, when you begin to observe a rash around one or both of your nipples, nipple discharge. In fact, for some people, it contains blood. For some, it necessarily doesn't have to. But when you observe an abnormal nipple discharge or sunken or inverted nipples, then also change in size and the shape and the look of your breast.
Okay.
Sometimes the peeling and flaking on the skin of the breast. All of this could be symptoms that are announcing to you that cancer is already in the breast.
Oh, okay. And now, who gets cancer? Is it like common within a particular age bracket? Also,
Yes,
wait, success, does it affect just women or men and women? Because I know Beyonce's father came out saying he was diagnosed with breast cancer.
yes, it affects both men and women. Although it affects more women than men. I think the percentage in men is just about 1% or thereabouts.
Okay.
It affects women more because of the presence of certain hormones in the body, which is peculiar to that gender, to the
Oh,
gender, to the female gender.
all right. So, among what age brackets is breast cancer common?
That's an interesting question because over the years it's been 40 years and above, but in recent times, we've seen cases, we've seen cases of women who are below 25, who are below 30, who develop breast cancer. So basically, let's say from 30 and above, but it's not going to be out of place if you hear or see someone who is below 30 with down breast cancer. But
Hmm.
it's much more common, with older women. The older you get as a woman, the more likelihood you can actually get down breast cancer.
Oh, okay. So I listened to some health practitioners once talk about how breastfeeding can keep breast cancer away. It's a way of avoiding breast cancer. Can you explain this if this is true?
Yes, yes. Actually, breastfeeding is not just beneficial to the child alone. It also helps the mother, the woman now in this case. It also helps the woman because this is because when you're not when you're breastfeeding exclusively, I have to put that point. When you're breastfeeding exclusively, it reduces your exposure to estrogen. You know, estrogen is one of the hormones involved in menstruation, in ovulation, and all of that. Now,
Hmm.
the more you ovulate, the more you menstruate, the more risk you have to actually get down with breast cancer. But when you're lactating, that's when you're breastfeeding, you are not exposed to estrogen.
Hmm.
During that phase, at least that 6 month phase,
Yeah.
you are like away from estrogen. So that way, your risk of developing breast cancer is reduced. It's
Okay.
reduced because your estrogen and your follicle stimulating hormone are just somewhere sleeping, or let me say lying down. So
Hmm.
basically, that's just it, basically, because at that point the prolactin level is high. You're lactating, you're not ovulating, you're not menstruating, so
Okay.
you're reducing the risk of getting down with breast cancer.
So, what are other risk factors? What are some things that make a woman come down with breast cancer? Are there certain
Firstly,
habits?
yeah, there are habits and there are genetic factors, and there's the gender factor. Well, thank God I'm a woman as well.
Hmm.
Being a woman place, in the first place, makes you um, predisposed to breast cancer. So that's why you have to know all that things to do, and that's why it's very important. And that's why Living Women's Health, we preach women's health. You have to just take care of your health. So one of the risk factors I'll talk about first is being a woman, like I said, and another one is the genetic factor. You know, if you have a family history of someone who's developed breast cancer before, or who currently has breast cancer, there's that possibility of you know, passing it on in a way. There's that possibility of you being exposed to breast cancer along the line. Another one is early menstruation and late menopause. I already established the fact that ovulation and menstruation, because of all the hormones being secreted and all of that, naturally predisposes you to to breast cancer.
Yeah.
So basically, when people start menstruating early, so early, and when they have late menopause as well, that means they are menstruating for a very longer period.
Hmm.
Do you get that? So the menstruation cycle is for a very longer period in their life. So it exposes them to this breast cancer we're talking about. Another risk factor now talking about lifestyle is overweight, being overweight, being obese. Another one is physical inactivity. I'm just going to put these two together. When you don't exercise, when you don't have a very healthy body weight, you're not losing weight, you're living a sedentary lifestyle, or you're just there. You don't burn the fat and all of that. Basically, you are actually feeding your estrogen. You're allowing it to just be there and all of that. So basically, this can also expose you to breast cancer. I mean, increase the risk of having breast cancer. Another one is alcohol,
Hmm.
substance intake, substance abuse. Taking substances containing nicotine, for example. All of these things, they tend to increase your risk of developing breast cancer as a woman. So it's very important for you to know, okay, what not to do and what to do. And another one is diet. Diet is
Okay.
very, very important as well. So basically, those are like the major things: not having children, not breastfeeding
Yeah, I was going
exclusively.
to ask you because there is this belief that when a woman doesn't breastfeed, she's at risks of coming down with breast cancer.
Yes, yes. I think we already established that earlier on,
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
when you're not breastfeeding, you're ovulating, you're menstruating.
Okay.
Do you get that? So when,
Yeah.
when you're not breastfeeding, you are ovulating, you're menstruating. Basically, your risk of being exposed to breast cancer is increased.
Okay. All right. So how often should one get the breast examination?
Hmm. Well, there are about different breast examinations, but I want to believe you're talking about self-examination, like
No,
physical
you can take
examination.
us through the types of evaluation and then narrow it down to self-evaluation.
Okay, I'm going to start off from self-evaluation because that should be the first step. That should be
Okay.
what you should do. You should do this on a daily basis. It's something as a woman you should consciously do. The way you consciously wake up and the way you intentionally take your bath and dress up, you should evaluate your breast. You should check your breast every day. You should be as frequent as possible. Because why do we preach continuous self examination? This is because if there's going to be a change in your breast, it's going to be much more easier for you to detect it if you're so used to your breast. I
All
don't know if
right.
you get it.
Yeah.
The way we check our face every day, oh, pimples, oh, acne, and all of these things.
Mm-hmm.
It's because we look into the mirror every day. So we know once there's a pimple, once there's development of acne, we know there's that visible and obvious change. So the same way when you continuously examine your breast, when you continuously take a look at it in the mirror, you do the self examination. There's a whole lot of resource materials online on how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Since I'm on hair and I can't show you,
Mm-hmm.
so basically, you could just read up on it and ask questions for those listening to me right now. So once you do the self examination as frequent as possible, first of all, you can actually know, okay, this is the change I'm observing in my breast. Then
Okay.
that takes us to the next one. There's a screening, like a scan, where we check your breast for some other abnormalities. And then there's the mammogram. Now, mammogram is one thing that every woman above 30 should do once in a year.
Okay. Above 30.
Yes,
Once a
above
year.
30, once a year. Because it shows you more, it gives you, how do I explain now? It shows the breast more at a larger scale. A radiologist gets to examine your breast the proper way. So it's not just about the physical examination. Now, I read a story of a woman. She had stage 2 cancer,
Oh
and
boy.
interestingly, she didn't have some of the symptoms. She didn't see them coming. She didn't see,
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
though there were physical symptoms and all of that, but she didn't see.
Yeah.
But going for a mammogram, going for a cancer screening test would actually help you to see those things that you couldn't have seen by yourself physically. because the doctor gets to examine you, the radiologist gets to examine you and tell you, okay, this is what I'm observing in your breast. Even if there's no breast cancer, if there's any other underlying breast disease, the mammogram can actually show you, and then you could take it up from there.
So in some cases, it's asymptomatic, or what is it called? No
Oh,
symptoms.
well, it's not totally asymptomatic. It's just that if you do not, I don't want to say totally asymptomatic, but you could actually begin to develop breast cancer and you wouldn't know because you don't have enough education and enough knowledge about it.
Hmm. So there is this belief that when husbands suckle on a woman's on the wife's breast, it keeps breast cancer away. This is a common belief on the streets. So I have to ask you this one: how
Hey,
true is
that's
that?
an interesting one. Oh, well. I don't believe it's true, but this is what I'm going to say.
Hmm.
When um your husband plays with your breast, naturally he is used to it. He gets to know the size, the shape, and
Hmm.
all of those things. So it could help him. I mean, it could
Dictate.
help you rather detect. Oh, there's a lump. This is a very funny one actually. There's a lump. I feel there's a lump in your breast, or I feel there's something. And when it's stretching and you're beginning to experience pain that usually you don't experience before, you both can detect what's going
Yeah.
on. Okay, I think there's a difference because before if I touch your breast, they complain. They
Mm.
say pain. Say
Mm.
sorry, I have
No,
to do that
it's
now
okay.
because
We
it's a street.
can.
It's a street thing, and
Yeah.
basically, but it's not like keep breast cancer away. I think it's a myth. So basically,
Okay.
it's just that it helps to probably
Detect it
detect.
faster. Okay, we have a
Mhm.
call here anyway. Oh, do well to call back. This is the big question. 29 minutes to the top of the hour. I am Kimberly Ubiabo, your host on the big question this afternoon. Do well to be a part of the conversation. We're looking at breast cancer. This is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Around the world, there are campaigns, awareness is being raised about breast cancer. Hello, good afternoon.
Kimberly, how are you?
Hi, Chief. Good afternoon.
I'm still welcome.
Good to speak with
Doctor,
you
how are
again.
you? Doctor,
She's
how are
fine.
you? Yeah, the chief of music. Kimberly,
Mhm.
I think doctor program is after 12 now, be?
No, this is the big question. Radio doctor is still
Okay.
10 o'clock.
Okay. This is a big question now. You
Mm,
understand?
mm.
Okay,
This is
okay.
Breast
I
Cancer
want to.
Awareness Month, so we have to talk about
Okay,
breast cancer.
okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Beautiful, beautiful. I love this station. I love you. I love every one of you for beautiful job. It's done. So it's precious.
All right, Chief. Thank you so much, Chief. Chief, please check your breast for cancer because obviously it affects men as well. At least now we know that, even if it's rare. Okay, so we're looking at breast cancer. This is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we're looking at encouraging survivors of breast cancer. Like I said, globally, awareness is created. There are works to create awareness. People wearing pink. So when you see pink everywhere, don't just understand that this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And
Mhm.
now, Success Adara Olaleye is our guest this
Yeah.
afternoon. Yeah, so let's take this other call. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, please, Kimberly. You say it affects men too.
Yes, it does, Chief.
How will a man know?
All right. Just let me ask Success. She'll answer it now.
Okay,
Just
I'm coming.
listen.
Wait. Don't go here. Wait, see, is it long this one is started?
No, nice since now.
I've not. Or even my own, is it used to be so
And that's the
crucial?
point of radio program,
No,
so that you know.
is it used to be crucial like woman own?
Yes, now. Cancer is cancer. But it's rare. It's rare with men, it's not as common with men that, unlike with
Go for
women.
it.
Yeah. Mm. So now that was a good question. Is it the same symptom for women and men? Success?
Yes, it is. Although they could have painless lump in the breast, but they would feel lumps in the breast. Naturally, a man is not supposed to have a big breast, right? So
Mm.
there's going to be the presence of a lump in the breast. There could also be nipple discharge as well, which is abnormal for men. Since they're not lactating, to have discharge and all that, there could be sore around the nipple, and there could also be blood in the nipple discharge as well. So yes, most of the symptoms present itself in man. But like I said earlier, men usually don't develop breast cancer. I mean, the rate far lower than that of the women. So basically, that's it.
Okay, it's rare. Not that they don't get it, but
Yes,
it's rare.
yes. But of course,
Okay.
there could be the dimpling and all of those puckering, pitting of the skin, scaling, and all. There could even be redness,
Mm.
on the skin.
All right, let's take this call. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Kimberly. How are you?
Ambrose, good to have you join us.
Good to hear you.
All
I
right.
greet the doctor also.
Success.
I want to ask if the cancer, um, we have not, according to scientists, they say they don't really know the cause. I
Mm.
want to ask the doctor, is sugar part of, because sometimes they advise that people should not take sugar because sugar can cause cancer, apart from even breast cancer. I want to ask the doctor, let her enlighten us on this issue, whether sugar can
Mm.
be one of the major causes of cancer.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ambrose. Well, bear in mind that she's not an oncologist, but I believe you can answer that, right?
Okay, yeah.
All right.
That's an interesting question. Although
Okay.
not directly, but there are a whole lot involved, in the way our body works. Sugar consumption, fat consumption. Because yes, I know people would also have that question. In a way, all of these things indirectly they have a way of contributing. Yes, that's the right word. Contributing to breast cancer and even every other diseases out there. Because um, usually when we look at it from the perspective of weight gain, when we look at it from the perspective of being able to break down fat in the body and all of those things. So when we have there's a link between increased sugar content in the body and fat in the body. So even though it's not directly a causative factor, it could have an effect.
Mm.
So it's not a direct causative factor, like I said, but it could have an effect. So it's just always advisable that as much as possible you stay away from such foods with high concentration of processed sugars and fat,
Mm.
saturated.
Oh boy. All right, we'll get back to Success Adara Olaleye. She's our guest on the program this morning, Public Relations Officer, Lily Women's Health. And we're going over encouraging survivors of breast cancer. This is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Awareness is created globally, and different people, like I told you, there are activities like walking, people take the walk to promote awareness, like charity organizations, a lot of charity organizations are, as at this time of the month, increasing awareness of the disease and looking to raise funds. Hello, good to have you back, Success.
Thank you.
All right, so you were
So like
saying,
I was saying, it doesn't cause breast cancer, but we must not we must not forget the fact that increased concentration of sugar and every other processed food could increase the presence of other underlying diseases.
mm,
So there's a way our body works. One disease sometimes would aggravate or increase the risk factor to get other diseases.
and
So basically, on a general note, you should still do away from so much sugar content as much as possible on a
mm,
general note.
all
But it
right.
doesn't directly cause breast cancer.
All right. Speaking of diseases, working together or connecting together, I was going to ask you if there's a relationship between breast cancer and cervical cancer, because often when awarenesses are created, I hear the two mentioned together. So is there like a connection? Does one lead to the other, or
I didn't get that question, please.
breast cancer and cervical cancer? I'm asking if there is like a connection between the two.
Okay, breast cancer and cervical cancer.
Yes.
If there's a connection between the two.
Yes.
Okay, majorly first they have to establish the fact that both cancers are majorly women are majorly at risk of both cancers. women are majorly at risk of both cancers.
All right.
And hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Women are both at risk of both cancers, but majorly the one that's more connected to breast cancer is ovarian cancer.
Oh, okay. Ovarian cancer is more connected.
To
Interesting.
breast cancer. So
Okay.
that's a little bit. Those are two different.
So how
Those are
so?
two
How does
different
it
things.
work? Is it because of menstruation or ovulating?
Ovulation.
Yeah, like how does it? You said ovarian cancer is connected to breast cancer. What's the connection? What's the relationship between them?
Okay, what's the relation between breast cancer and ovarian
Yes,
cancer?
yes.
Yeah, through genes. Genetic information, through gene predisposition to genes and all of that. So it's hereditary.
Okay, okay. All right. Now, let's go back to the big question of this afternoon: encouraging survivors of breast cancer. So, how would you say we can encourage and support survivors of breast cancer?
Oh, beautiful question. One question I like to answer. First of all, I like to establish the fact that you can actually survive cancer because there's this street belief that once you have breast cancer, once you just develop breast cancer, the next thing is death. You can actually survive breast cancer. And that's why one of the things we call out for, we talk about majorly is early detection. Because the earlier you detect breast cancer, the better for you. The more increased your rate of survival. And that's why we call for people to do continuous self-examination, go to mammogram centers, do your once in a year mammogram, do breast cancer scan and all of those things. It's very, very important that you know the state of your health, the state of your breast health. I need to emphasize
Yeah,
that. You need to
yeah.
know
The state of the
what's going
breast
on in
health.
your breast. Yes.
Something
Because
else could be
most of the
happening
time,
there.
yes, so many times things are happening in that place
Hmm.
and you don't even know.
Wonderful.
You don't know. You don't know. So it's very important for you to understand what's going on in there. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why we encourage women, especially women above 30, to go for mammograms, go for breast scans and all of that. Now, moving forward, encouragement begins from the fact that you need to get knowledge. You need to understand as a breast cancer survivor, if there's anybody who is a breast cancer survivor listening to me right now, it doesn't matter what stage you are. First of all, you need to believe that you're going to survive it. And
Mm.
another thing I want to emphasize is support groups are very good, but be very careful of what you take in, hook, line, and sinker. Because sometimes there's so much fear instilled in people, so much that they feel they can't survive it.
Mm. So are you?
You understand?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so and encouraging them, I would like to say that when you work on your diet, you take more vegetables, you take more fruit, you can improve your general health, which would also still tell on your breast health.
Okay.
And like I said, so that you don't end up being someone who would have developed stage 3 before you actually get to know, and then the next thing we're thinking about is mastectomy or some other serious things, that's surgery. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
very important for you to do make sure that you examine your breast and you take your time to step towards mammogram. As Lily Women's Health, we carry out mammograms, we carry out screenings and all of that, and we're very passionate about women's health, and we do this beyond the way it's been done out there, because we're really passionate about women's health. So and we have different flexible plans that you can actually up onto. So
Yeah.
I believe we'll get to
Yeah,
talk about it
yeah,
properly.
definitely. You will tell us more about it at the end of the interview. But now you talked about support groups. Is that provided by Lily Women's Health as well? Are you aware of some support groups that survivors of breast cancer can, sign up to or
Yes,
sign up with?
there's so many support groups out there, and interestingly, beautifully, you would be glad to know that yes, we do have our own support group as well, and we have medical doctors on the team, we have radiologists on the team, and we also have different health professionals on the team who will give you all the tips you need to know, all the things you need to know to support your health generally, and even with reference to breast cancer. And we also help to navigate patient care. We do follow up patients. We connect them with doctors. We connect them with healthcare centers where they can get all the maximum help they need.
All right. So how about family
Healthcare
members?
they need.
Yeah. Yeah. How about family members? What would you suggest they do to help?
Oh, family members. One of the things family members can do to help is not to stigmatize. I need to emphasize that, not to stigmatize. Not to stigmatize, very, very important, because that exact, especially for those who probably already had mastectomy, that's the removal of one of the breasts, for example, it's very, very important. You don't see them as though they're hot, or they are hot because one of their breasts has been removed. So first, it's very important that you do not stigmatize as a family member of a breast cancer survivor. It's very important. Another thing that the family members should do is to make these people feel empowered. How do I mean feel empowered? Is to make them feel the best of themselves, help them to develop that self-esteem again, because there's this reduction in self-esteem that comes with a woman who develops breast cancer. So you have to be very, very careful not to reduce their self-esteem. Make them believe in themselves once again, especially for women, who had probably been doing so much before, and because they came down with breast cancer, they withdraw their shell. You really need to be there for them, make them believe so much in themselves, make them feel beautiful. Women generally, we have this very funny belief of
Self-perception.
when we look at ourselves and one
Yeah.
part of our body is probably not looking the way it should be, we begin to get angry with ourselves, with God,
Mm-hmm.
with people around us. So you need to make them feel like, oh, I'm still very much beautiful. I'm still very much looking elegant and all of those things. So you need to help them to increase their self-esteem. Then you can also help them, support them by increasing their physical activity, join them for exercises, go for outdoor activities, just, to help them boost their immune system as well, to help them boost their self-esteem. Thank you.
Okay. Now, is there a chance that hello, Success, are you with us?
Very much with you.
All right. So, is there a chance that after surviving breast cancer, he gets to come back? Do you have, I think it's remission, is that the medical term? But does he get to come back after surviving the disease? And if yes, what are some habits that you suggest can help survivors of breast cancer, prevent reoccurrence or help them heal faster?
Okay, one of the let me pick it up from the last question you asked. What are the chances? Can you take that again, please?
Yeah, if it's possible, like what are the chances you get it back? Is it possible that it comes back after you survive breast cancer? Does it grow back again?
Oh yes, it does. Cancer cells can be very funny. They grow rapidly. So that's why now you already know the risk factors. So even after the first stage and all of that, or after the first um, you getting to know that, okay, I have breast cancer, you're developing breast cancer. It's very important for you not to slip into those lifestyles that we already established are risk factors. Because once you slip into those lifestyle again, you're increasing the risk of you falling back into that state of being down with breast cancer again.
Okay.
So it's very important that you watch your lifestyle. So that's why diet is still very important. Exercise is still very important. You don't go back smoking if you were going back smoking and all of that. But basically, there's this chemotherapy. It's called the adjuvant chemotherapy. And what it does is it helps to clear off the leftover cancerous cells in the body, usually done after mastectomy, that's after surgery. So most of the time, this is being done to clear off the cancerous cells.
Oh, okay. Okay. So
And
that
then it's also
prevents.
very important. Yeah, I
Yeah.
need to also state this. It's also very important that you should be involved in. I mean, you should do your regular checkup, your regular clinic attendance. You don't say, oh, because I've done mastectomy or something. I once had a very close family member who actually had mastectomy and all of that. We still made sure that she kept going for medical checkups and all of that, and that had helped her over the time and all of that. So it's very important that you don't stop going to the hospital because you feel okay, it has been taken
Yeah.
away and I'll just
Mm.
keep living my life. So you need to go back to the clinic to ensure that the therapy is still very much in place.
All right. Let's get your final words. Prevention, lifestyle tips to help manage breast cancer. And if there are any special diets, if there are some foods that help to reduce the risks of breast cancer, you can also mention.
Okay, so basically, let me start with green fruits and vegetables. It's very important for you to take fruits and vegetables. Interestingly, it helps for every other aspect of our health beyond breast. But particularly now, what they do is because they contain antioxidants, they help chelate free radicals, which are generated from different sources, even examples from smoking and all of that. So when you increase your intake of fruits and vegetables, that's one way to actually help yourself to shield yourself from breast cancer. Another one is activity, physical activity. It helps you burn your weight. It helps you to keep you active. It helps to keep you fit. It helps to keep you, um, elder weight and all of that. So really very, very important for you to make sure that you're not just eating well, but you're also burning the fat, exercising, getting yourself into that physical activity that can actually help you to stay fit. And then for women who are at that childbearing phase of their life, it's very important for you to go for exclusive breastfeeding. I preach it personally. Exclusive breastfeeding is not just beneficial for the child, even though it is highly beneficial for the child. Even you as a mother, it helps to prevent you from developing breast cancer. So why not? If
Hmm.
it's going to be beneficial for the child and the mother, and even the father, he won't be buying formula for the first 6 months.
Hmm.
So you're
Hmm.
saving some
Some
money.
babies after 3 months, I don't think exclusive breastfeeding will sustain the baby.
You see, God will help us in
Baby will
Nigeria. I'm
cry.
telling you, God will really help us. But really, it's a very, very wonderful practice. It's
Hmm.
something that people should be intentional about.
Yeah.
I've seen children who are exclusively breastfed, and trust me, they're always very healthy. So since we're talking about the women, that I'm just going to chip that in that as a mother, I'm very sure you want a healthy child. So please make sure you breastfeed your children exclusively. And the good part is that it's good for you too.
Mm-hmm. Prevents
So
breast
why
cancer.
not?
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
it
right.
prevents
So,
breast cancer. It reduces your exposure to estrogen and all of that. So basically, I think it's a very good practice. You should engage in it if you're childbearing age.
all right. So, thank you very much for taking time off to come, on board to create awareness about breast cancer. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so
Success,
much for
Adora
having me.
Olaleye. Are you
Thank you so much.
Igbo and Yoruba? Because I'm seeing Adora, I'm seeing
This is a
Olaleye.
question I get to
I've
hear
been,
every
yes.
day. This is a
So,
question I get to hear every day. Okay, I'm Yoruba. I'm proudly Yoruba. I'm from Oyo State.
so
So
where's the
I'm a
Adora in this?
full-blooded Yoruba. Oh, yeah, good, great one. Adora is not Igbo name. It's
Oh,
Adora, that is Igbo. But Adora is Greek.
oh,
And it means
okay.
gift. And it means
Oh, so
gift.
you borrowed
Because I'm
the.
a gift to the world.
Oh, great. You are. Thank you very much. And of
Yeah,
course,
thank
do
you.
stay good and happy. All right.
Yeah.
Enjoy the
Okay, so
rest of.
quickly, I'm just going to talk about
Yeah.
the mammogram and the plans we have. People might be wondering, oh, okay, they want to do
Oh, oh. This thing is like it's programmed to just go off at some point. But thank you very much, Success Adora. Although we want to hear about that, so we'll see if we can reach her back, just so she can talk about the monogram. Do we reach her back on? Okay, that's it on the program. Our guest has been Success Adora Olalege. She's a public relations officer, Lily Women's Health, and we looked at encouraging survivors of breast cancer on the big question this afternoon. I am Kimberly Ubiebo, and of course, thanking you for being part of the big question to our great callers and you listening on the other end of the radio. Big thanks again to our guest, Success Adora Olaleye, and thanks to the producer, Esther Laribe. The Big Question is a program where we discuss and provide solutions to issues affecting us as a nation and as citizens. So remember that conversations like this do not end here. We must continue to raise awareness on issues like breast cancer and other important issues and continue to speak about the problem and, most importantly, provide solutions to it. So, happy Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Do your part to create awareness. And, of course, please examine your breast as often as you can. I am Kimberly Ubebo. Enjoy your afternoon.
To sponsor this program, call the number Oh, it